Mike and Tom are registered with Steward Partners Global Advisors. Common Sense Finance with Mike Wiginton and Tom Farrell of HL Wiginton Capital Management, an independent investment and financial planning firm in downtown Jasper. Mike is a chartered financial analyst charter holder, and Tom is a certified financial planner professional. They are here to discuss and give their thoughts on current financial and economic matters. Now, with Common Sense Finance, here are Mike and Tom.
Welcome back to another edition of Common Sense Finance. I'm Tom Farrell, and this is Mike Wiginton.
It is me.
Yes, yep, sure enough. So we're going to talk about contrary advice versus faulty forecasting.
Okay. I'm all about some contrary advice.
I understand.
Being
Yes,
contrary.
So you had brought an article to my attention a couple of weeks ago. Do you want to just give a brief synopsis?
It was an advisor perspective article from a couple of weeks ago. We'll post a link to that in the down below. Oliver Stone will do that for us. But basically it was on has the bond market got does the bond market have it wrong about regarding inflation? Because the bond market is throwing out some signals that, hey, interest rates are going to come down, which would imply that inflation is going to come down. And the takeaway from the article this really isn't about what you think inflation is going to do or what you think interest rates are going to do. That's a great conversation, but that's not what this is about. It is about how faulty forecasting, okay? The inherent issues, problems, drawbacks in forecasting, and especially over long periods of time. We talk about financial planning. Oh, I'm going to retire. When are you going to retire? Not at 65, and that's and your life expectancy for a man is going to be what? What are we planning to? 92 for a man, 94 for females. But in the industry, I believe you would know this, Mr. CFP, that the standard's going out to 100.
Yeah, they're talking about moving that up
to 100. So if we say 65, okay, so right off the bat you've got a 30-year horizon to plan for, and you're going to come up with variables like inflation that will, in this article it states it goes back over history and it looks at 10-year periods of time where inflation has eroded the value of the dollar by up to 60% over some 10-year periods, losing 60% of your purchasing power. That wrecks financial plans.
So to put that into terms, if you had $1 sitting in your safe at home, and you pull it out 10 years later, it's worth 40 cents.
In that scenario, worth 40 cents. Okay, and people they don't try to act like, this old people don't understand this.
Who's trying to act like that?
You would say that to me sometimes, and I'm saying, okay, you go listen to people gripe about the price of eggs, and pretty much everybody knows. Even I don't even do the grocery shopping at our house, and I'm acutely aware of the price of how the price of everything's gone up. Groceries, we're having conversations at a HOA about budget meetings, and I'm like, if you think that our budget should look anything like it did prior to 21, you're out of your mind. It's a totally different world.
Yep.
And the statement comes up, get a load of this. If you can't, and this is a vacation area, right? But a lot of people live there full time. And I don't mean this harshly, but if you can't, you're going to have to make real decisions whether you can afford to be here or not. And perhaps you can't. And that's coming down for a lot of people. So you say, that's really harsh. Who are you saying that to? Hey, man, this is what this conversation's about how do you try to protect against that. Okay, so faulty forecasting to somebody that says, this is the way it's going to be forever, 2% forever, crazy, and stress testing, what would a 5% inflation rate do? What if it's only for 10 years out of your financial plan of 5% annual inflation for a decade? What does that look like? Or 4%? Okay,
it's going to have a significant impact.
It's going to be significant. Sure. And so then you get into the contrary advice, and this is where I come in, and this is my position. I state it on a regular basis. You can like it or not like it. The only thing that defends against that's equity, is ownership and equity. Well, we say it's the only thing that grows wealth. That's a fact. And now you think about the old adages and old advice like, when you turn 50% of your portfolio should be in bonds. Well, they didn't say, for the next 5 years it should. Okay,
Right.
that was that's the way it should be. The 60-40 portfolio. What's happened with bonds the last 2 years?
Ooh.
They've been pummeled.
Yes, it's been bad. It has been bad.
They've been pummeled. I mean, the guy that called up and wound up, he had a long-term Treasury bond, and it was worth 60 cents on the dollar. What he paid, he had by now it's worse than that, but he had lost 40% of his value, and he thought he was putting his money in a safe, quote, safe asset. Okay, so I'm just saying, if you've got any runway at all, if you know you're going to die next week, this isn't for you. If you know that, but if you've got any runway at all, I start looking around and I'm thinking, is there a safer place? If you think about the S&P 500 and the kind of companies that are in it, and I don't care about any of these companies. I'm just naming some companies in the S&P 500. I don't care about any of them. And this is not investment advice because I don't even know you, and so I can say that. But if you look at companies like Caterpillar and John Deere and Walmart and Apple and Google, and you think about not just any one of those companies, but all of them, the resources they have, and all of their resources combined, and then you think about how something like an index like the S&P 500, I call it it's self-cleansing. What do you mean by that? Well, companies go away. The Kodak films and the Sears and Roebucks will go away, and the Googles and the Apples come in, and take their place, and it moves on and marches upward. Yep. I think there is, and this, I'm saying this based on the entirety of my background, education, work, experience investing across multiple asset classes. I don't know where a safer place over the long term to be is, and I know the short term volatility takes your focus off of that, but.
And that's what a lot of people look at is, well, it's safe, it's safer here and it's not going to go up and down much and we don't have to, but if it's maybe safe today in your eyes because it's not, you don't see the value of your statement changing a lot, but you go out 10 years, yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to have to move?
Yeah,
because
I
can't afford
to sell my house.
Yes.
And move.
What was one of the quotes from that article that Oliver's putting on for us is that the purpose of a portfolio is to support one's lifestyle.
Yep.
Is to support one's lifestyle for a day, for a month, for 5 years. Well, how about for 30 years? How about for 25 years? Mm-hmm. What is the unknown, the inherent uncertainty in that? Well, what's my health care going to be in my 80s? What am I going to suffer through and need in my 80s? And you don't know what tool, and by tool I mean what asset class are you going to choose to defend that with, that lifestyle with? I don't know that there's another.
That's the only. The only way to combat it is, yeah, you're right.
You get a lot of pushback on that. I'm cool with it. I asked, come on, let's go, giddy up.
Easy.
I'm ready to roll. So it's just, look, I didn't make this up. History is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else to add on that?
Nope, that's it.
All right.
You done?
I'm done. If you
All
want.
right, thanks.
See you next time.
Controversy. You get high. Does your daddy cry? Controversy. 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 Do I believe God? Or do I believe me? Some people wanna die so they can be free. So life is just a game. We're all just the same. Controversy. Controversy. Controversy.